Welcome to the final experiments. The final experiments are a preponderance of evidence against flat Earth, and the final experiments all confirm the globe. These experiments were all conducted in December of 2024 when 4 flat earthers and 4 globers went on a journey with me, Will Duffy, to Antarctica. We spent time in Punta Arenas, Chile, which is at the southern tip of South America, before flying to Antarctica. This entire trip allowed us to conduct historic experiments and collect data firsthand from an area of the world that few people will ever have the opportunity to visit and do this themselves. Prior to my announcement of the final experiment in early 2024, a vast majority of flat earthers, with very few exceptions, promoted the Gleason's map of the world, which is an azimuthal equidistant projection. This map had the North Pole at the center and pushed the south to the outer perimeter of the known world. This made Antarctica an ice wall perimeter around all the world's continents, and it served to hold in all the world's oceans, as flat earthers claim water must have a container. It also extends the entire southern hemisphere into a larger and larger area, where on the globe, everything south of the equator gets closer and closer together. This made being at the southern tip of South America and Antarctica the perfect place to test flat Earth claims and also confirm the globe predictions. Every single flat Earth claim failed. Every flat Earth prediction was demonstrably false. The final experiments are meant to be taken collectively, just like evidence in a court of law. Undoubtedly, flat earthers will attempt to discredit individual experiments we did while at the same time ignoring the rest. If they cannot provide an accurate map of the world and a working model that can account for the results of all of these final experiments collectively, that is because we don't live on a flat Earth. If they try to say these experiments are not actual experiments, but only observations, that is because they cannot reconcile our findings with a flat Earth. If they say that flat Earth does not make predictions, that is because making accurate and testable predictions based on a flat Earth is impossible because a flat Earth does not exist. You cannot make and test predictions based on something that is not real. Maps of the globe exist because the globe exists. The entire globe model exists because the globe exists. Countless globe predictions come true every day, and countless future globe predictions will continue to happen exactly as predicted because the globe exists. If a flat earther tells you that there is no accurate flat Earth map and there is no working flat Earth model, and that they don't make predictions, that is an implicit admission that a flat Earth does not exist, because you can map things that exist, you can model things that exist, and you can make very specific predictions that come true based on something that actually exists and is testable. I created the final experiment to give both sides, flat Earth and globe, an equal opportunity to prove their side. Only the globe side returned with evidence supporting their position. The globe side returned with tons of concrete evidence that both accurately matches the globe model and also falsifies flat Earth. This brings us to the South Celestial Pole. A southern celestial pole can only exist on a globe. So, what is a celestial pole? To simplify it, a celestial pole is a point in the sky that the stars appear to rotate around in a circle as they move through the night sky. These concentric circles, known as star trails, can be captured as Wolfie 6020 did here using long exposure photography. On a flat Earth, there is only one celestial pole, and that is where the stars rotate counterclockwise around Polaris, which is better known as the North Star and also often referred to as a pole star.
In the flat Earth model of the cosmos, the North Pole is the immovable center of the world and the entire universe. Polaris, the North Star, sits straight over the North Pole, at the highest point in the heavens, and like a slowly rotating planetarium dome, all the celestial bodies revolve around Polaris and over the Earth once per day.
On the globe, there would be two celestial poles, one in the north and one in the south. This will be a common theme in this series, where we will see a beautiful symmetry between the northern and southern hemispheres of the globe, a symmetry that is impossible on a flat Earth. Flat earther Eric Dubay, in his video titled Polaris Proves the Flat Earth, because lights in the sky do tell us a lot about the world we live in, he has this graphic in his video which says, stars are turning around on that dome. All stars rotate east to west around Polaris, just above the central North Pole, like in a planetarium dome. This is why there can only be one celestial pole on a flat Earth. On a flat Earth, there is only a North Pole and therefore only a celestial pole in the north. As Eric Dubay's video here reminds everyone, a South Pole does not exist on a flat Earth. And so, what motion would stars make in the night sky in the south on a flat Earth? Again, flat earther Eric Dubay, in his video titled How the Southern Stars Work on Flat Earth, has this graphic which says, star trails form circles near center, which is above the North Pole on a flat Earth. And then number 3 says, stars go along horizon near the edge, forming lines, which is the south on a flat Earth. On a flat Earth, stars would move through the night sky in horizontal lines parallel to the horizon. You would never see what you do in the north, with stars rotating around a point in the sky, creating star trails that are in concentric circles. This means a southern celestial pole would prove the globe and falsify flat Earth. And flat earthers agree.
The heliocentric model claims stars south of the equator revolve the opposite direction around Sigma Octantis, but in reality, all the luminaries revolve the same direction, east to west, around Polaris, like in a planetarium dome.
Yes, Eric, the heliocentric model does claim that stars in the south revolve around a southern celestial pole in the opposite direction as the stars in the north do around the northern celestial pole.
And Dr. Robotham wrote, it has often been urged that the Earth must be a globe because the stars in the southern hemisphere move round a south polar star in the same way that those of the north revolve around the northern pole star. This is another instance of the sacrifice of truth and denial of the evidence of our senses for the purpose of supporting a theory which is in every sense false and unnatural.
Eric, it seems you and Dr. Rowbottom were banking on no one ever traveling far enough south to see whether the stars in the southern hemisphere move around a celestial pole the same way the stars in the north do. Well, if you are actually in search of truth, today is your lucky day. Another flat earther who goes by the name Flatzoid said a southern celestial pole would prove the globe and even challenged me to try and capture it on camera during our trip to Antarctica.
But wouldn't that show a globe then if they had to show both celestial poles by standing underneath it on the GP? And no one shows that. Your globe's false because you're not able to show two actual celestial poles from the GPs on the ground. Well, Duffy, if you guys do go, that should be in the homework you guys should do.
Yeah.
Try and get the South Celestial Pole above you.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's so funny, Flatzoid? Since there cannot be a South Celestial Pole on a flat Earth, did you think I would fail in capturing a video of it? Hear what Flat Earth Dave has to say about southern star trails around a south celestial pole.
So one of the big things is, in the southern outer hemisphere, people say that the stars rotate in the opposite direction. They make circles in the opposite direction, and that can only happen on a ball Earth. I have yet to see any real proof of this.
I am very happy to announce that Flat Earth Dave will no longer be able to say he has never seen proof of this because the globe is real. And because the globe is real, we were able to capture the southern star trails in the southern hemisphere while we were in Punta Arenas, Chile. Here is a time lapse that MC Toon captured himself. And here is another one captured by Dave McKeegan. Now, I wanted to take a shot at capturing this myself as well, so one night before bed, I stuck my 360-degree camera out the hotel window, and I was able to capture these southern star trails as well. One thing not to be missed in these three captures is that the stars are rotating clockwise. This is another common theme that will emerge in this series. A type of mirror effect when comparing observations in the northern hemisphere with observations in the southern hemisphere. Again, something that makes perfect sense on a globe, but would be impossible on a flat Earth. The stars rotate around the north celestial pole counterclockwise, and they rotate around the south celestial pole clockwise. This is exactly what the globe model predicted, and once again, the flat Earth prediction of no southern celestial pole was wrong. Flat Earthers told us that the south celestial pole did not exist, and that stars in the south would move across the sky in horizontal lines parallel to the horizon. But these predictions were demonstrably false. Because the globe exists, it can be modeled by anyone and will accurately predict what will be seen at any geographic location. This is impossible to do on a flat Earth because a flat Earth does not exist. All data points perfectly match the globe. We do have a south celestial pole, and stars in the south do rotate around that celestial pole clockwise, which is the opposite of the counterclockwise movement we see in the north. Watch this incredible video from Robert Schwartz, who captured the south celestial pole from the geographic South Pole. This single video from Robert Schwartz shows two things that cannot exist on a flat Earth: a geographic South Pole and a celestial South Pole. Now, even though Eric Dubé said the heliocentric model predicts this south celestial pole, and even though Flatzoid said a south celestial pole would show the globe, flat earthers have already tipped their hand as to how they are going to respond to the fact that we have now captured the south celestial pole with multiple cameras and even procured a video from the geographic South Pole. They are going to claim that the southern star trails are some form of reflection of the star trails in the northern hemisphere. Here's Austin Whitsitt saying just that.
And it's been replicated even with the dome. It'll just reflect out the central part and it'll look like it's rotating the other way around. I do agree that the star trails, if you never have heard of this, you can just say that it doesn't make sense, but you have to look into it, see some visualizations. There are demonstrations that show it. There are literally demonstrations if you take a dome and you have star trails projected up on that dome, the same stars that you see in the center towards the northern portion, the interior portion, will actually be reflected out to the outside. They'll go the opposite way around a single point. So we've literally taken... Again, listen, if you take a dome, you can take a group of stars that are all spinning around a center point. They're just spinning around a center point. If you project it up inside the dome, what happens is you'll see it on the outside of the dome, spinning around a central point the opposite way. There aren't actually even lights there. The lights are in the middle of the dome, but all of a sudden you see this, the lights stretched out and skewed a little bit in the south, spinning the opposite way around a point. So that's a real thing, objectively a real thing.
Now, most of you probably already see why this doesn't work, but let's also listen to Joe Hanvey explain southern star trails as a reflection of the stars in the north.
All right, you can see the singular rotating star field in top of the dome. I have projected it into the top of the dome, and when I come in here, what's interesting is, see how you get these two different looking anti-rotations. So I'm focused on the southern sky on the other side of the dome right now. When I back out, you see it looks like one star field. And it is one star field. It's one star field rotating one direction. But when you come in, the way the dome manipulates the light, you see it separate. And you get an anti-motion in the southern part of the motion that is actually happening in the top of the dome.
Another Flat Earth YouTube channel called No Fanfare has attempted to model this in a video, which I can only now find on Flat Earth Dave's YouTube channel, DITRH. Here is a clip from that video.
Yeah, you can see in the fan how it's reflecting off the side of the wall of the salad bowl. Right? Just move the stars. There goes the terminator line. See the stars moving around on the reflection. Right? There's the lights up there. So that's the lights on the reflection.
As you saw, the colored lights represented the stars, which were only at the top of the dome, which would be in the north. And it was a reflection of these exact same colored lights being seen in the south by those in Australia and Africa. Now, this Flat Earth YouTube channel, No Fanfare, just released a new video a few weeks ago, December of 2024, with a brand new 3D model purporting to show why the southern stars are just a reflection of the stars in the north. Check it out.
If you can conceptualize yourself on a giant record player turntable with a giant reflective dome over it, that tube light in the top center, as you spin clockwise, that tube light reflection is going to go anti-clockwise. Now, when you stop and the stars are spinning, so the stars in the north go anti-clockwise, so as they're spinning anti-clockwise, your reflection then is going to go clockwise.
Just as flat earthers admitted for years that a 24-hour sun in Antarctica would prove the globe and falsify flat earth, and then changed their position once the final experiment was announced, they are doing the same exact thing with the South Celestial Pole. They originally said that stars did not rotate in a circle in the south like they do in the north. They originally said that a south celestial pole is what the heliocentric model would require and would prove the globe. But now they are changing their position once again and attempting to reconcile the perfect globe prediction of the south celestial pole with a flat earth. And as you heard Austin Whitsitt, Joe Hanvey, and No Fanfare state, their attempt to make this work on a flat earth involves the rotating stars we see in the north being reflected in the south. There's just one problem, one massive, irreconcilable problem. There are different stars in the south than in the north. Flat earthers know this, as they have been very vocal that the North Star, Polaris, cannot be seen when you get far enough south.
Globe Earthers are taught that the reason the North Pole star cannot be seen from southern locations like Australia or New Zealand is because it is hidden behind the supposed curvature of their globular Earth. Similar to what is taught about boats disappearing beyond the horizon, they claim these boats and the pole star are disappearing behind the physical curvature of a globe, and insist if the Earth was truly a stationary plane, that Australians should have no trouble viewing Polaris. The fact of the matter is that all stars positioned north of a southbound traveler gradually decline overhead the farther the observer travels southwards.
And so the South Celestial Pole cannot be a reflection of the stars in the north that rotate around Polaris. This desperate attempt to refute the existence of the South Celestial Pole, which we've now seen with our own eyes and captured with multiple cameras, is a complete non-starter, as it requires the stars seen in the southern hemisphere to be the exact same stars as in the northern hemisphere. And that's just patently false. Flat Earth cannot account for any of this. There is no South Celestial Pole on a flat Earth. Stars do not move in parallel lines along the horizon in the south. The stars in the south rotate clockwise around the South Celestial Pole, which is the opposite of the counterclockwise movement around the North Celestial Pole. And the stars in the southern hemisphere are different stars than those in the northern hemisphere. And so the concentric circle star trails that we see in the south cannot be a reflection of the star trails in the north. And so all of this together simultaneously will never be modeled on a flat Earth. Because again, you can't model something with this amount of precision and make these very specific, accurate predictions concerning something that doesn't exist. It's only possible to do all of this with something that is real. And because the globe is real, every single globe prediction concerning the South Celestial Pole and southern star trails has been confirmed. And the flat Earth prediction of no South Celestial Pole was completely false. Please watch our other experiments, which are part of these final experiments, where you will see results that confirm the globe and results that would be impossible on a flat Earth. And please share this video with anyone you know who is a flat earther or considering flat Earth. As Jesus said in John 8:32, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.